highlights of the upcoming 2015 South African Rally Championship is proudly presented by Motorsport South Africa and its partners Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, Sasol and Dunlop. This is what it's all about. Dirt, dust, mud, rocks and all kinds of obstacles that make driving a 200 kilowatt thoroughbred rally machine over rough and uncharted terrain even more challenging. This is the South African Rally Championship. It is of course 2015, which means that yet another chapter in this adventure, which started more than half a century ago, is about to be written. But before we try and predict the future, let's bring you up to speed with the past. The traditional battle between age-old South African rivals Toyota and Volkswagen had in recent years turned into a three-way fight when drivers representing the Blue Oval decided to join the war. In fact, Mark Cronje, behind the wheel of a Ford Fiesta, was crowned champion in both 2012 and 2013. So when the 2014 title chase got underway, Cronje was the clear-cut favourite. But the season quickly proved highly successful for Toyota's Leroy Poulter, who managed to get a jump on the competition with a few early victories. Cronje fought back with a number of wins of his own, but in the end, Poulter was just too strong, claiming one of South Africa's most coveted motorsport titles in the process. Volkswagen ended the season strongly with their Dutch driver Hans Weiss taking the final victory of the year and ending in second position on the points ladder. But that is yesterday's news. And with the start of the much anticipated 2015 South African Rally Championship now only days away, all motorsport eyes will be on the new fight. And the more things change, the more they stay the same. There will be new drivers and new navigators and new cars and new teams taking on a few new events. But one thing will remain, and that is the intensity of the battle between Toyota, Volkswagen and Ford. As the current and defending champions, the bulk of the pressure will no doubt be on the Castrol Toyota team, and more specifically, on the shoulders of Leroy Poulter. Poulter has won many South African and even world motorsport titles, but lifting the trophy for winning the 2014 South African Rally Championship was probably his proudest moment.
Well, I think it's probably one of the most difficult series that I've ever been involved in. I've done the karting and I've been in production cars and other forms of circuit racing. And this is just, there's a lot of things against you. So to win it at the end of the day was a massive gain for me, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it.
The place of work for Poulter will once again be the cockpit of the Castrol Toyota Yaris, developed and built right here at the Hall Speed facility in Midrand.
The car developed a little bit more over the year, and during this year we will be developing it some more in very specific areas. The trouble is that when you start getting to the top of the performance curve as it is, it's very, very difficult to find those bit extra.
As they say, the taste of victory is an addictive one. So Poulter will once again team up with his champion navigator Alvin Kutsia to read the notes.
You know, we've had now 4 years together. We've learnt a lot, and we kind of know each other really well. So definitely we'll be together, and we'll try to push for another championship.
So the Poulter and Toyota Yaris combination is a good one, but will it be good enough to be victorious in 2015?
Well, obviously we're going to give it our best. You know, we've got a good car, a good team.
From the Toyota Motorsport base in Midrand, it's off to the Eastern Cape and the home of Volkswagen, or more specifically, the automotive giants motorsport division in Uitenhage. This is where the latest version of the Volkswagen Sassel Racing Polo S2000 rally car has been developed over the past few years.
The Volkswagen Sassel Racing team developed this car in 2011 and it went to competition in 2012. Over the last few years we've done a lot of development and more over the off-season, so we'll start the season really strongly.
The team's hard work and dedication is finally starting to show dividends as the Volkswagen Sassel Racing team ended 2014 on a high when Dutch and Belgian duo of Hans Weiss and Bjorn de Gant sprayed the champagne from the top step of the podium. It may have been the team's only victory of the season, but it bodes well for 2015.
Hans and Bjorn ended the season really solidly with a victory in Bella Bella. It was a great result for the team and for them, and I'm sure that this year we'll be challenging for many more.
The team's driver lineup for 2015 will be very similar, with Hans Weiss and Bjorn de Gant scheduled to fly out to South Africa for each of the 8 rounds that will make up the 2015 championship. Weiss has proved to be one quick driver, and Volkswagen will have high hopes for him to challenge for a title. Perhaps even quicker than Weiss is Volkswagen's young gun Henk Lateghan. The young man is only 20 years old, but already has more than 2 seasons at the top level under his belt, as well as a few outings in Europe.
Yeah, we just came back from Monte Carlo, extremely difficult event, really tricky. I think that will help me for the rest of the South African season. I think Monte throws everything at you that any rally could ever throw at you, so I think we'll be prepared.
The youngster has loads of talent and raw speed, so Volkswagen's plans will no doubt require him and co-driver Barry White to bring in the results in 2015.
Yeah, and I think this season we'll also start trying to get a few better results, maybe 1 or 2 wins if we can. Just put in maximum effort and try and get our first win.
The team from Uitenhage will again field 3 cars in the Premier S2000 class. Popular driver and the fastest brother in Africa, as Gugu Zulu is affectionately known, will return for yet another season, but this time with a former champion navigator in the form of Pierre Aries reading the notes. There is no doubt that the Volkswagen team knows how to win. So, will they do it again in 2015?
Volkswagen team definitely know how to win. We won 6 championships from 2005 to 2010. We've had a lean patch. We bounced back last year to second in the championship. We believe we have all the right ingredients now, and I'm sure we'll challenge for the championship and we will win rallies.
And speaking of winning, someone who knows all about it is former double champion Marc Cronje in his trademark number 24 Ford Fiesta. It is more than fair to say that Cronje dominated both the 2012 and especially 2013 seasons, winning as many as 7 out of 8 events in 1 year. But luck was not quite on his side in 2014.
It's just one of those years that just nothing would go right. We had a number of punctures, some small technical issues, and it really put us on the back foot towards the end of the year. And I think we still have the package, and I think we've got a great team behind us. And I think we'll pick up the pieces and definitely look up our way forward.
The number 24 Ford Racing Fiesta received a good overhaul during the off-season. And with the help of Ford Motor Company and Cronje's own sponsors, the former champion will be more than ready to take up the fight once again.
Leading up with the car, I mean, we've really done a lot of work in the off-season. We've identified some small issues from last year, and I think we've going in with a positive outlook for the year. So we're definitely going to take the fight back to Toyota and VW, and we're most certainly not going to let it slip this year.
And Cronje will not be the only one flying the Ford flag, as businessman Jaapie van Niekerk will return behind the wheel of his new Africa Developments Ford Fiesta. Van Niekerk is as quick as anyone on any given day, and with just a little luck going his way, he will be a contender for many rally victories during the season. And to add to his chances, Van Niekerk acquired the services of the very experienced Irish co-driver Gordon Noble, who will make the trip to sunny South Africa for each of the 8 events. After the break, we look at the different types of machinery that will take on the 2015 South African Rally Championship, and we give a glimpse of the 8 different battlefields that they will encounter along the way.
lightweight champion Leon Maynard goes up against his fierce rival Don Madge. EFC 37, Saturday, 21 February, live and in HD, exclusive to Supersport.
Vuzu Amp is going to school you in
how to get away with murder.
Step 1, discredit the witnesses.
What if I leak it?
Step 2, introduce a new suspect.
How'd you get this? It wasn't exactly legal.
Step 3, bury the evidence.
You got him to lie on the stand.
We won because I did my job.
I want to be her.
You don't care, neither do I.
From the power-dressing fierceness that brought you The Fixer, How to Get Away with Murder. Mondays at 8. Out of This World drama. Exclusive to Vuzu Amp. Channel 114.
Tuesdays, with their backs against the wall at the bottom of the log, Lesotho will look to their new signings to stand up to the Brazilians and step up on the log. But with Pito and his boys having their eyes set on the league title, a loss to Lesotho is not an option. AmaZulu versus Mamelodi Sundowns. Friday, Awema second, the Urban Warriors take on the Chili Boys, Utafamba Moyeni. Woza Saturday, Amatas go head to head with Mpumalanga Black Aces. Cheers, sir! And then it's Bayo Orlando, when there's a Mnyama Ngengane play host to Polo Kwane City. Same day jumpers, the team of choice takes on Free State Stars and Harry Kwala Stadium. Jodaba! The Answer Premiership. Live it loud. It's Super Tuesday. On Supersport, your World of Champions. Proudly brought to you by ABSA, member of Barclays.
So, we will have a number of Toyotas, Volkswagens and Fords, driven by the country's top drivers, battling it out for overall and Premier Class S2000 honours. What exactly do the words Premier Class S2000 mean? Well, it's an international racing class for thoroughbred rally machines with an engine capacity of up to, but no more than 2 litres. These engines are highly modified, but must still breathe on their own, so no turbos or other forced induction charges are allowed. Doesn't mean that S2000s aren't powerful. Teams are reluctant to divulge too much information, but they all produce in excess of 200 kilowatts. But power alone is nothing without the ability to get it down on the road. And the road in the case of rallying is mostly slippery gravel with loose stones and rocks, and in many cases even mud. So an S2000 has a sequential 6-speed gearbox coupled to 4-wheel drive, allowing an S2000 to accelerate from a standstill to 100 kilometers an hour in just 5 seconds, and that on a slippery gravel road. And that brings us to the S2000 Challenge. The cars competing in the S2000 Challenge are basically identical to the Premier S2000 cars. In fact, they are the exact same cars used by the factory Volkswagen and Toyota teams, but from a few years ago. So, an S2000 Challenge car could be slightly heavier and without a few small performance upgrades, but are essentially not much slower than the factory cars used by the factory teams. And this should be the domain of young Namibian driver Wilro Dippenaar and his co-driver Kes Naidu. Dippenaar runs a PZN panel beaters Toyota Auris used by the factory Toyota team a few years ago, but the Namibian is extremely quick. His goal will be to finish on the podium as often as possible, while mixing it with the factory drivers, something which he already achieved in 2014. For 2015, the S2000 Challenge will combine with the old N4 class to create a new class called NRC 4. If this all sounds confusing, don't be concerned. All it means is that the turbo-popping sound of Subaru and Mitsubishi Lancers will once again receive the opportunity to put on a show for their loyal fans, as these cars will be allowed back on the stages under a new set of rules. The aim is twofold: to increase the spectacle by having more cars on the stages, and secondly, to have a car that is still quick and spectacular to see but less expensive, as explained by Rally Commission President Richard Leake.
S2000 Challenge we've now incorporated into a new class or new challenge called NRC 4. What that means, it's obviously four-wheel drive. It will incorporate S2000, the old S2000 Challenge cars, which we are being more lenient on the homologation regulations now, so that we can try and shed some weight and bring them back into a competitive nature against the normal S2000 cars.
If the champions from yesterday and today are sitting behind the wheels of 2-litre four-wheel drive machines, then this is where you will find the champions of tomorrow, the highly competitive Super 1600 class. These cars are all two-wheel drive, normally aspirated cars with engines not exceeding 1.6 litres. And although a touch slower than the Premier S2000s, they are still thoroughbred racing machines. The three-way fight between Toyota, Volkswagen and Ford will also continue in Super 1600, with Ford Fiestas, Volkswagen Polos and Etios Toyotas all planned to line up at the start of the first event. Italian Guy Bottrell dominated the 2014 season by winning 6 of the 8 events in his Yatu Tools Toyota Etios to claim the Super 1600 title. So smart money will be backing the young man to start the season as the odds-on favourite. But a number of talented young up-and-coming drivers will want to make their mark and have already shown that they will do what it takes. And rumour has it that a few old dogs will return to the sport. Will the old dogs teach the youngsters a few new tricks, or will the youngsters reign supreme? So, now that we know who's who in the rallying zoo and what they will all be driving, it's time to focus on where they'll be doing it. And this will be the first battlefield of 2015. The traditional season opening Tour Natal rally, or simply called the Tour. It's a favourite for spectators, and the beautiful gravel roads that wind their way through the sugarcane fields of the KwaZulu-Natal south coast are usually in great condition, but the Tour is also feared by the majority of drivers. Firstly, it's the first event of the season, so the drivers need time to find their feet, and time in rallying is a luxury that you just don't have. Secondly, the roads might be beautiful, but they're also very dangerous. It's a feature of the Tour, the so-called marbles or layer of loose little stones that cover the gravel roads near the south coast town of Scottsboro, where the rally will be based on the 27th and 28th of February. These marbles have caused many accidents over the years, so to finish the Tour is an achievement. To finish it on the podium will be absolutely fantastic. The winner of the Tour will go to round 2 of the 2015 South African Rally Championship with 25 championship points, or 4 more than his nearest rival. So, although it will still be early days, they will have everything to drive for on round 2. And round 2 will be the ever-popular Sasol Rally, arguably the biggest event on the South African motorsports calendar, in arguably one of the most scenic parts of our country. The forests and plantations around the Mpumalanga towns of Sabi, Graskop and White River will once again play host to the spectacle, while the city of Nelspruit will see its fair share of action when 2 cars will race one another over the same stretch of tarmac for the traditional Spaghetti Junction stage. From a driver's perspective, the Sasol can influence the entire championship. A win here can mean a lot come the end of the season. But these forests are not the place to take any risks. The smallest of mistakes will be severely punished by punctured tyres and shattered dreams of Sasol glory. Exactly 4 weeks after the Sasol, the crews will tackle the first ever Secunda National Rally. Although technically still in the same province as the Sasol, conditions in this Mpumalanga town will be vastly different. Secunda is on the Highveld, which means the roads will be in traditional Highveld mealie fields, and because of its 15 and 16 May slot on the calendar, the Secunda Motor Rally will feature a monster of a different kind, dust. The rally circus will then return to Limpopo and the town of Bela Bela for round 4 of the championship. The town played host to the final round of the 2014 title fight, so although it's no stranger to the world of rallying, it's still fairly new. In 2014, the Bela Bela Rally was praised for its compact nature and accessibility. But at the same time, it was tough on both the drivers and their equipment. By now, the title chase could develop into a 3 or even 4-way battle between SA's top drivers. The 17th and 18th of July will mark the start of the second half of the season. After visits to KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga and Limpopo, the rally circus will finally reach the Eastern Cape for the annual Volkswagen Rally. And this is a big one. The start will be at the Volkswagen Pavilion in Uitenhage, with many more spectator-friendly stages spread out all over Port Elizabeth and surrounding areas. Volkswagen Rally is all about one thing: the fearsome Longmoor Forest. The Longmoor is a place where drivers' wildest dreams can become reality, but so can his worst nightmares. Whoever survives this challenge will unofficially be crowned as the King of the Longmoor, a title that demands huge respect amongst the drivers. It will also set the tone for the remaining part of the title fight, while Volkswagen will have the added pressure, or is it advantage, of performing in front of their home crowd. The 14th and 15th of August will see the rallying world return to the Highveld for the annual Cullinan Rally. As the name suggests, the event will take place in and around the historical diamond mining town just east of Pretoria. Conditions will still be dry, so dust could once again play a huge role in the outcome of this event. And with only 2 rounds remaining after this one, it could be the time to start backing your favorite horse to take the title. The Fairest Cape will host the Toyota Cape Dealer Rally on the 18th and 19th of September. This event, normally contested on the extremely fast and open farmlands of the west coast near the towns of Malmesbury and Maritzburg, is one of the most beautiful events on the calendar, but the drivers will have little or no time to admire the scenery. The fight for championship honours could reach its climax here in the Cape, and who knows what will happen by then. What we do know is that on Saturday the 17th of October, in the province of Limpopo and in the city of Polokwane, the South African Rally champion will be crowned in the shadow of the Peter Mokaba World Cup Soccer Stadium. The Polokwane Motor Rally will be the final battleground in the 2015 war. And irrespective of what the points ladder says at this point, everyone will most probably go all out in a last attempt to either win a title or end the season on a high note. So, we have cars from various automotive giants in the South African motor industry, driven by a host of former, current and future champions, and that on 8 very different events in 6 of South Africa's provinces. But there can be only one. Who will it be in 2015? This preview of the upcoming 2015 South African Rally Championship was proudly presented by Motorsport South Africa and its partners Toyota, Volkswagen, Ford, Sasol and Dunlop.